Welcome to the Deal Flow Network, where business owners help other business owners and where every conversation creates a connection. Today's episode, we will discuss a new topic randomly picked by our host. Each week, we will present a real-world business issue or concern, something every entrepreneur or leader can relate to, like a cash flow crunch, staffing challenge, or growth plateau. Before the show begins, each guest seated at the table is handed a Deal Flow flashcard. Every card has a single thought-provoking question connected to that week's business issue. But there's a twist. Guests must keep their card face down until the business issue is revealed. Once we introduce the week's topic, everyone flips their card over one at a time, revealing a unique question such as, what financial strategy could stabilize this business? What marketing change would make the biggest impact? Then one by one, each guest answers their question, not as a pitch, but as an expert. They explain how their service, product, or experience could help a business owner facing that problem. This allows every participant to share their real-world perspective and demonstrate their value through meaningful conversation, not sales talk. It creates organic collaboration and a table full of business owners helping other business owners, turning conversation into strategy and collaboration into deal flow. Now let's get to know our guests on this week's episode.
Sarah, do you want to kick us off? Tell us who you are.
Sure. So, not technically a business owner, but I am with the Center for Christian Virtue. Most people, I would say, have not heard of who we are, as I had not heard of who we were until a year ago. We are Ohio's primary family policy council. So we fight for biblical values at the State House. But then additionally, we have different pillars. So we run the Ohio Christian Education Network. We run the Christian Business Partnership, which is Ohio's only Christian Chamber of Commerce. And we also have our Church Ambassador Network. So I could really deep dive into all of those, but that is not what today is for.
Awesome. No worries. Thank you. Jen?
Yes, hi. So I'm Jennifer Taylor. I own Transworld Business Advisors of West Central Ohio. We are business advisors who help people buy, sell, or turn their businesses into franchises. So we are hands-on with business owners every day.
Love it. Both of you ladies are gonna fit well into our topic of the week and round it out for us. Excuse me, Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott Grote-Lucian, and I'm with Lifetime Financial Growth. We currently are one of the largest privately held wealth managers in the United States. We currently manage a little bit over $8 billion in assets.
Wow.
And if we were an insurance company, we would actually be the 7th largest insurance company in the U.S.
Oh, my goodness.
Very impressive.
Yeah. So lots of fun topics there. But I will tell you that we specialize in working with individuals, startups, businesses, talking about the succession planning. There's a lot that goes into that, and I'm excited about our topic today.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for being here and being willing to help us kick off, our brainchild of doing networking in modern day podcast world. So again, the topic for this week is succession planning. And what we're talking about there is a business owner that is ready to step away, ready to offload the actual working in or even on the business to that next generation or potentially to a buyer. Hint, hint, wink, wink, right? But so each of you have a card in front of you.
All right. What are the first steps in identifying a suitable successor?
Very good.
Okay, so I will also maybe share that I have experience in business brokering with Jennifer. So while I am here with CCV, I do have some experience with this.
Yes, you do. Think about the wraparound services that you guys offer.
The first thing I would do would be to introduce them to Jennifer. But honestly, so this is what I love about having so many pillars at CCV is the Christian Business Partnership is such a great tool for business owners. So we are the fastest growing chamber of commerce in the state.
Wow.
Which is amazing. So I think we are up to 378 members.
That's incredible.
Yeah, which is really neat. And it's really neat to have a network of Christian business owners that get to, work with other Christian business owners, bounce their ideas off of one another. So for me, for the first steps in helping to identify a suitable successor would be to be having that conversation with the current business owner. who is it that you're looking for? What is important to you? And then helping that person to connect with other business owners within our network, you know, if that's what makes sense for them. And if, you know, there's not anyone that makes sense for them in our partnership, then I'd be like, you know what, I have the absolute best person to start you off with, and I would drive them over to Transworld.
Awesome. Any follow-up questions for Sarah on how she answered?
With 300 members now, I mean, there's bound to be financial advisors, you know, a ton of different wraparound services, if you will, for lack of a better term, to support that person in that succession planning.
Sure.
Do you have like a database that you give your members, like a sheet or a website?
Yeah, there's an online, they have an
Okay.
online portal for members. So while we are statewide, right, like most chambers of commerce are for their little sections, areas. You have Columbus, Westerville, you know, whatever it might be. So while we have 378 members statewide, we have different chapters all over the state. So you can be plugged in specifically, you know, to people who are in your area, but then we have that portal that still makes it available to see everybody, and we do things together, you know, once in a while. But
Well, that's very cool.
I thought you knew.
How can key processes and knowledge be documented for continuity? Every owner should be documenting everything they know about their business. They grew the business, they developed the business. So much of it lives within their head. As a business broker, we see this every time we're selling a business and transferring it to the new buyer. How did you come up with your brand? What, you know, colors you use? What are your passwords? What are all the different ways that you do things? Like right now, I'm selling a dog food manufacturing business. And even to the pH levels of mixing the dog food, how did you figure that out? You know, the consistency, does it leak when you're, you know, holding it upside down, or is it staying in the pouch? I didn't even realize those were situations. So even as a broker, you know, I'm coming across so many different businesses with so many different things to pass on to the new owner. I'm like, okay, well, that's a new one for me. So proper documentation is vital. And doing that along the way, like every new business owner should have a way to document this. And we do have a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I'm biting my tongue because the fact that this truly was random, this is like serendipitous to the nth degree.
Yeah, because I picked up.
Exactly. But I think what I can't help myself, this is not supposed to be about me, but I can't help not chiming in here that it's not just about, when we think about selling a business or transferring any asset, let's think about our home, right? As like an individual homeowner, we think about just that we're transitioning a physical thing or an income stream or what have you. There is a way. Jennifer's brainchild is live and in action in our book. So that's awesome. That's something that you specifically as a broker and your team really champion for your sellers and for your prospective buyers.
Sellers want out right after they sell. They want 2 weeks of transition and out. However, they really need 3 months, sometimes 6 months. And they can do a contract to come back. But imagine if they had actually documented everything.
That 6 months would
how
go
amazing
to,
would that be?
Right.
Yeah.
That 6 months or a year would go to maybe to 6 weeks, right? So it's just.
Do you have a checklist or something like that? Because I'm thinking of a client right now that they're literally probably about a year and a half away, and they're talking with they're the minority partner right now, and they're going to be taking over 100%. And it is just not good, right? I mean, it's like, well, what do we do here? Tell me about the procedures. I mean, they don't have a lot of those in place. So he's coming to me and he's talking to me about all these things. So we're starting to put that together, but it's
So it's not a book that teaches you
okay.
how to exit your business. It's really a supplement, a way of getting everything out of the business. But however, there is a section at the end that kind of gives you a timeline. You should be thinking about this at this time.
Okay.
And then asking specific questions. You should talk to a broker. You should talk to a financial advisor. You should talk to your lawyer. These are the things that we want them to realize, but without having to teach them too much. Because we really want them to get someone that really specializes in this, like the exit factor. If you think about the people that are in it, buyers don't always know what to say, or the person taking over, the successor. He doesn't know what to ask. You don't know what you don't know till you don't know.
Right.
And so this will kind of guide you like, oh, I didn't even know I needed to ask that. As we were developing it, we were like, oh my gosh, didn't think about that. We had different.
It just kept coming.
It just,
One more question that Jen thought of and put in sparked 3 more questions that I thought of, and vice versa. And so it went from like 6 or 7 chapters to 13.
Yeah.
Like that.
Super
like that.
fast.
The big stuff's in there too, because it needs to be, but that little muck stuff that you just don't think about, like why this vendor and not that vendor, or why this brand color and not that brand color, so on and so forth. Why this CRM, not that. Obviously, I'm talking about my own business here, but like
I see several editions of this book in the future.
Yeah. So checklist. I mean, literally through each chapter of the book, it starts with a checklist. So it gives you kind of topics, and then within those topics, there are questions there.
So I needed this. I need this book afterwards. I need to take this to the guy.
Yes.
I think you found your Christmas present for all your clients.
Yeah.
I think you found.
Absolutely.
Let's hear it.
Yes.
Scott,
All right. So my question is, how can the owner emotionally prepare to let go of control? Oh, jeez. That's a hard one.
from the numbers guy.
That is really hard.
But no, this is good. Good.
When we go and we sit down with the owner and we talk to them, sometimes we come into a situation where we're talking to them where they may be 10 years out, right? Now, in your question, you're talking about, hey, they're ready to do this. So, and sometimes those situations go from a 10-year plan to where we help them to all of a sudden, like in a former client, it turned into like a 1.5-year plan.
Yeah.
Right, because they found what they thought would be the perfect buyer. They weren't going to go with the family, and the opportunity came up. So we had to move faster. And so what we did from for the owner's standpoint to emotionally prepare for that is we really took assessment really on their personal side, from not only just financially, but just emotionally. And he said, so we did talk about the numbers and said, what are we doing? What kind of a lifestyle do you need? What things are we, paying for with the business that you're no longer going to be having because the business was paying for that, and because those things affect their lifestyle,
Yes.
Yep.
And so we had to talk about that piece. And then based on the actual sale of the company, like, okay, this is no longer here. So how are we now going to derive an income, from your assets? So we had to have a distribution strategy. So we put those things together, distribution strategy, and then worked on the emotional side. And then the other piece was, you've been doing this all your life for most times, or a good portion of your life. What do you want to do now? Right. And so we began to connect them with some resources, and then kind of go through a checklist of, what do they have an interest in? And oddly enough, some of them were like, well, like maybe start another business.
Yeah. Entrepreneurs don't
Right?
retire.
Happens all the time. I was just talking to a gentleman before we got into the studio, and he's had a business for about 7 or 8 years, and he's probably about 4 or 5 years away from his exit. And we're already talking about what's his next.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Because it's a pause, and then you realize you have all this time.
it is.
And then you get,
Right.
into the next thing.
Well, and it's so much your identity.
Truly is.
A lot of business owners, the emotional side of it is they're tied to their business. I am, a business broker. Yes.
I am an insurance agent.
Yeah.
I am, fill in the blank, a caterer, or this. It's your identity, like you said. I think it's incredible that you and your team, Scott, take the time. It would be so easy to just look at cash flow,
Yes.
to just talk about what does the business pay for and what do you pay for personally, and leave it at that.
Right.
But to tap into that emotional side of it is asking them, like, what do you want to do with your time? Are you prepared for that? Have you thought about that? And most financial advisors are not doing that. So A++.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about, because I've known what you do, obviously. But hearing you say that, it dawned on me, you are really staying with them throughout the process and after the process,
Yes.
and guiding them.
Yeah, you don't go away.
Yeah, we don't. We often tell our clients, like, we're your advisor for life.
Yeah.
Right, no offense to the CPAs and tax consultants, but most of the times when they have their businesses, they're really ingrained with them. But then when they sell their business, there's really not that much of a need for them from that standpoint. And so we come alongside with them, and we're there for them for we know some of their biggest joys in life, some of their biggest downturns in their life, and so we've been with them on that journey and to help them with that control piece because this is like their baby. Right, and they've grown it to a certain age or level, and they've gone off to college or whatever that is, and it's progressed. And what do you do next? The control piece definitely is there, and we help them channel that into what is the next, or what do we need to do personally, because that identity is truly something that a lot of business owners have, and so we help them with that.
Absolutely.
Love it. Any other follow-up questions, ladies? No? A plus work, everybody. Thank you all so much for taking the time to be here. Share with the group your biggest win, whether it's the last week or last month, but the biggest win, so we can all give you some claps here.
Snaps.
Sure. From a business perspective, a relationship that I had for probably, I'd say, about 8 years, referred to me my largest client.
8 years.
Wow.
And, that was like perfectly teeing up the underlying message of networking, that it really truly is that consistency, that farmer mentality, that you reap what you sow. So continuing to put water and sunlight on those relationships, sometimes for 8 years. But Jen?
Let's see. A business that I sold a year and a half ago turned into a bunch of different referrals, 9 referrals from that one.
Wow.
And it wasn't because she made a ton of money. I connected with her on a relationship level, and we're still friends. We go to dinner, and I love that part, and I take it very seriously. I want the success for my business owners on both sides. I want the buyer to be successful, and with the seller, and even the buyer of that business, became a friend and started. Introduced me to you.
Right,
and,
exactly.
Introduced you to your wedding venue.
That's true, actually, yes.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I called him up. I knew he lived in the town I wanted to get married in, Hocking Hills. And he's like, yeah, I have a friend who has like a 40-acre estate,
Awesome.
and here's a really great deal.
Nice.
And it was amazing.
It was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Win-win.
Good.
Funny.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank you so much for sharing. Sarah, tell us your biggest win.
Sure. So, I know these are deals, right?
Yeah,
But I was sharing with Scott before we were, going on air, that we had the Secretary of Education in last month, and she did a press conference from our office and a town hall, and shared with us some really exciting news. So I told you guys we do the Ohio Christian Education Network. We are in the process of dropping the O because we are taking this nationally. So Christian Education Network. Ohio has done it so well that the other family policy councils in their states want to model, what we do here. So we had these grand plans to be in 20 states in the next 5 years.
Wow.
that's amazing.
Oh, well, it gets better. When Secretary McMahon came in, she shared with us, because as so many of us are still trying to figure out all that is in the big, beautiful bill, there was a large sum of money set aside for a national Ed Choice program.
Wow.
So this will be available to states January of 2027. So this just took us from 20 states in 5 years. So we found this out at the end of September, right? To all 50 states in 15 months.
Of course it did.
Right.
So,
Wow.
huge win though for
Yeah.
Christian education and being able to offer that to
An
whoever it
alternative.
is, right?
Yeah.
That wants that, and making it available, for anyone.
Yes.
So, we provide scholarships, statewide. And we have a scholarship granting organization, an SGO. And right now you can make it's like a dollar for dollar tax deduction on your taxes So it's $750 as a single person, $1,500
Yeah.
as a married couple. And you can designate like what school you would even want that to go to,
Wow.
or you can just make a general
Wow.
yes
That's really
donation. However, now with the national one, this is going, and it's an even better dollar for dollar match than we have
Locally
at the,
here,
at
yeah.
the state level.
That's really
So
cool.
yeah, it's just really opening it up to help people financially who might not otherwise be able to
Pay for. Yeah.
tuition.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
incredible.
Yeah.
20 and 5 to all 50 and 15 months. 15 months.
Yes.
Wow.
So if you guys
Yeah.
see me running around and my hair's like
Yeah.
on fire,
Exactly.
sleep
We
feed.
know.
We'll bring buckets of water.
sleep when I'm dead, right?
Yes, that's incredible. Thank you all so much for sharing your wins. So to wrap up, I'm going to go through and try to paraphrase, but jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. Sarah's question was about identifying that person to take over in a succession plan. So I'm a business owner. I'm ready to transition my business. How do I identify who to do that? And Sarah's organization, having 373 members in the state of Ohio, that would be a great connection if you're a part of their organization to go to someone like Sarah or someone on council to say, hey, help me assess the Rolodex that is membership and start to identify, are there actual business owners already that would be a good successor for my business,
Right.
or warming up those conversations to make introductions.
Yes,
Sounds fair?
absolutely. That
Good.
sounds very fair.
Good.
Except that we have 378.
378.
That's right.
Let the record show I was wrong. 373 is wrong. 378. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Jen's question was, how can a business owner properly document, or what should they document through the process to be able to sell? And Jen shared specifically for herself and her team as a business broker, that is something that they intimately walk through with every single seller, is prepping that list of questions. And where this comes from is just her experience, not only as a business broker, but as somebody who has built a business and then sold it.
Yeah.
And knowing that when you pass over that asset or you pass over that income stream, that there's so much more to that.
Yeah.
And so Jen and her team have sort of a checklist that they go through to make sure that we're pulling out all of those random pieces of knowledge to make sure that transition is smooth. And it perfectly provided a shameless plug for the two of us to highlight the owner's playbook. Yes,
As you
which is
should.
a
Buy it
deeper
today.
dive. Yeah, deeper dive into like a checklist within a checklist within a checklist. So
I
perfect.
think you highlighted something right there too, that because you know Jennifer, you knew to say it, is that she is a business owner who sold a business,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's true. Which
she
makes a
has
huge
been through the
difference.
process,
Yeah.
and
Sort of like-
different perspective, a
Yeah.
unique perspective.
It being being a real estate agent who's never bought or sold a home, like that. It
Right.
like so it. I can say as a business broker myself that as a part of Jen's team, that a leg up that she brings to our client base is that she is a business owner who has bought or has built and sold a business, and then is helping business owners do the same thing, that like not everybody on the team has that experience. So
And sold within Transworld.
which is, yeah, I always forget
Even
that
more
piece.
unique.
Yes.
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 Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Sarah. And then rounding us out today, Scott's question was talking through what does his team and he as a financial advisor, what can he do to help a business owner through the emotional side of selling a business, identifying what that emotional journey is going to look like, feel like. And he shared that while he and his team are obviously focused on cash flow and making sure that their investments and the ideal, revenue from or profit from the sale of their business is going to work financially, that it's not just about that. He and his team take the time to talk about lifestyle, to identify what does the business pay for that you're no longer going to need, or that you are going to need and now you need to pay for, and digging into that, age-old question of what do you want to be when you grow up, right?
That was good.
Yeah. So Excellent job, all of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Please join us next week, listeners. We're going to dive into marketing, and you'll see a new panel of our membership coming to network live on the air with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right? You
With
Yes,
this.
you do.
And if,
choose. I can go now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just
You should know.
so yeah. So yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. And so, all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. I
But and so, but we, we help them.
Love it.
And he's like, yeah,
and it was amazing.
it was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Win-win.